With the primary elections just over a week away, Guam politics is surely heating up. UOG professor Dr. Ron McNINCH, who's known for his election polls, has made some predictions, some of which may not come as a surprise to some voters. McNINCH addressed the Rotary Club of Tumon Bay today as their guest speaker. In the delegate race, McNINCH easily places Bordallo at the top. McNINCH says the poll was conducted by his political science students with 276 participants made up of half men and half women. According to the latest poll, which was just finished this morning, Bordallo has 51% of the votes, and Democrat candidate Carlo Dizon and GOP candidate Frank Blas Jr. were tied with 23% of the votes.
Well, Dizon is doing actually fairly well. When I wrote this, he was at 15, and now he's about 23. He's still doing very well. The independents and write-ins really are non-issues, to be frank. In fact, after the independent attacked Madeline Bordallo, he just fell through the floor and hasn't ever recovered. In general, what's going to happen is after the primary, it's going to winnow down to Blas versus Bordallo. Blas will pull 42% at base. Bordallo has about 50, and so then it's a uphill battle sort of game for Blas.
Would you say that there is still even a small chance that Carlo might pull through?
Anything can happen in the next 2 weeks. This is like all else equal, so it looks that's the way it's trending, but absolutely, up to the last day, anything can happen.
On the legislative race, McNINCH emphasizes that it will be a tight race, as there are 31 candidates, but only 30 who can advance to the general election, 15 Democrats and 15 Republicans. He predicts that former Senator Frank Uggan Jr., who stepped out of the legislative race in 2010 to run in the gubernatorial race, will be a top vote-getter in the primary and general elections. The bigger question, McNINCH says, is which party will take the majority. At this point, McNINCH says it's a toss-up, with the results either going 9-6 or 10-5 in favor of the Democrat majority, or an 8-7 GOP majority. While the Democrats have held the majority in the last two legislatures, McNINCH cautions that they will have to fight hard to maintain it going forward.
The Democrats really got their fingers slapped in the last year or so over some of the things that went on in the last 2 to 3 years. And that's been very, very prominent and very, very common in the media. And so even if they're in the majority again, I think there would be a different sort of Democratic legislature, one that knows to maintain their position, they've got to work with the governor. And I think that that's really what this election is about, is who is going to work with the governor? Can the Democrats work with the governor? Can the Republicans work with the governor? And who's going to do the best for the future of Guam?
Republicans move up and down much more quickly in a very much more dynamic way. And what that means is Republicans can go up very, very quickly and take a majority when it's not expected. The majority on Guam in the legislature changes all the time. All the time.